the Temple of the Ekur, the temple of the hostile enemies in the future. Make of that what you will. The oldest temple in Babylonia was that of the Ekur at Nippur, a temple sacred to Enlil, formerly Molil, formerly Zu. Zu, Sin, who stole the role of Bel. This was the god replaced by Merodach, aka Marduk. Bel, Bil, Baal, the enemy, the hostile enemy, the precursor to Enlil, the enemy of the gods. From gods, once demons.
I injured a stone and I hospitalized a brick. I'm so bad I make medicine sick.
Nippur, a temple sacred to Enlil, was previously dedicated to the Bel, the enemy who Merodach replaced. There is no change in the worship. Enlil, Merodach, and Bel, Zu, Sin, all have connections to the Ekur, the house or temple of the hostile alien enemies in the future. And that is not my opinion. My knowledge is based on the language. It is the meaning of Kur. The oldest known temple in Babylonia was that of the Ekur at Nippur. It was probably founded somewhere around 4000 BC, or possibly even at an earlier date. The date is similar to the original Tower of Babel. According to A.H. Sayus, Zu was the oracle of that tower. I tend to agree. He was the god of the illustrious tower. Zu is the voice of the oracle, and therefore the oracle of the tower. Babel, Bab, a triple gate, El, God. To confirm that, Zu is the gatekeeper. And also in line with the oracle, the wisdom or the teeth of the deep, or obsidian blade. And Zu, the divine storm bird, known more broadly as the lion-faced demon, whose purpose is to protect the tablet, neither gods nor people, but the tablet. It is a curse protecting the tablet, and that is why Zu is the gatekeeper and the humble gamekeeper. Zu waited in the wilderness. Moses, Mashu, raised the serpent in the wilderness, and the sacrificial scapegoat rite for Azazel. Remember, Mashu means twins, kid, or he-goat. Before the time of Sargon, we find the rulers of Nippur embellishing the temple there. The climate of the place necessitated frequent repairs, and by reason of occasional popular revolutions, the fabric, the building, received considerable damage. We find Ur-Ba'u in around 2700 BC, who built a ziggurat in the temple area at Nippur, and a few centuries afterward, Bursin repaired this ziggurat, but also added a new shrine. The Ekur saw numerous political changes, and when foreign dynasties ruled the land, its importance waned. But the later alien rulers shrewdly saw the advantage of restoring its rather tarnished splendor. And we find several of the Kassite dynasty in 1400 BC, so far honoring it as a place within its confines. A votive object from Elam, Elam, the house of awe and splendor, had originally been placed in the temple of Ishtar. Ishtar is the daughter of Lord Zu, Sin. You can see this as progress, if you like, but the progress would be in reverse. What I mean is reverting most of it back to the worship of Lord Zu. All of these roads lead back to the source. This votive object, placed in the temple of Ishtar at Erech, from where it had been removed by an Elamite conqueror 900 years before. They are indeed reverting it back to the worship of Lord Zu. This was almost as if remarkable, as if the Scorpius stone, sorry, that was its previous name, similar to the stinger of Argo Nevis, Zuben al-Akrabi. As if the stone of destiny, the Leah Fail. But don't forget, Zu stole the tablet of destiny and hid it on a mountain top, or placed within a chair or throne, because the chair is the seat of the gods, representing the mountain. One could say an Ekur. One more time, this was almost as remarkable, as if the Stone of Destiny, the Leah Fail, in Westminster Abbey, were to be restored to its original seat in Ireland. The Scorpius stone, the old serpent, is indeed the foundation of a Kuduru stone, a boundary stone, similar to the standing stone, the Kuduru stone of sin, placed beyond the borders of Assyria to poison the land and its people. A line also shared by Anzu, the lion-faced demon. And what does Leah Fail mean? Officially, it means Stone of Destiny. Remember, Zu is the oracle. It is the Irish name for the ancient coronation stone. Reputed, like the demons of Babylon, it is reputed to sing, or to utter a shriek, or murmur, when a king, willed by destiny, sits upon it. That was the Oxford reference, which is wrong, because logically and originally the stone was hung by a chain of rock. Only then was it able to vibrate, and the reason they removed it, made it idle, was so it could not disapprove of the reigning monarch. By sitting upon it, making it idle, well, I'd say that was a confession, wouldn't you? Similar to Thor's hammer, only the worthy can lift it, so they sit on it. Illegitimate kings. I do apologize for singing, murmuring the truth. The meaning of Leah Fail. Leah is Celtic. No, it is Hebrew. The meaning of the name is relaxed, alternatively weary, and indeed one should be weary of Leah. In Hebrew, it does not mean relaxed. It means weary. One should be weary, because I live on the river Weir, and this word in Assyrian meaning mistress. I think that would relate to the mistress of Lord Zu, Suen, alternatively Zeus. I refer to Leia and the swan. Leia in Gaelic is cognate with Zu or Azu, the healer or physician of the gods, the messenger of the gods, in Greek the bearer of good news, usually depicted in the form of a lion, and in Latin, Leia means lioness. Let's keep going, and in Spanish, similar to the lions entwined in ancient Babylon, and again similar to Baal, the Lord, Master, but also to convulse, twist, entwine. Leia means to tie or wrap together, nothing more than a synonym of a synonym of a synonym of a synonym. Even synonym would be a convulsion or twist of the word, would it not? Similar to these temple builders who overlap the defeated cultures. What I mean is assimilation, not forward, but back. It reminds me of Ianos, the god of beginnings and endings. Ianos, Janos, the god of doors, gates, and transitions, a god of duality, life and death, beginnings and ends, youth and adulthood, rural and urban, war and peace, barbarism and civilization. One could say the gamekeeper, the gatekeeper, aligned perfectly with the lion of the ether. His breath is death, your beginning and end, known as both father and son, the god of the wilderness, and the cursed creature of the city, or fire, the god of war and barbarism. You see, we can see clearly, that is, if we aren't blinded by the light. Remember the Uddug Hul, the demons. Hul means joy or evil, and they can't be told apart. Originally, there was no difference. They were demons, and regardless of their evolution, they are still demons. Their ascension is an illusion. The Temple of Nippur was at this time dedicated to Bel, aka Zu, the god of the wolf. Nippur was dedicated to Bel before that deity was ousted by Merodach via the Enuma Elish and the precursor, the legend of Zu, without whom there is no need for Merodach. Almost every one of the Kassite rulers made costly additions to the temple at Nippur, and from their several inscriptions, for example, Marutuk, the container, we can follow its history down to Assyrian times. Legion, the 50 gods within Marduk, were allocated to Ashur, the new container for the gods, and only then does Anu become the king of the Anunnaki. And if we trace this back correctly, it was previously Pazuzu, previously Humbaba, also connects to Medusa, previously Phobos, fear personified, formerly Humbaba the Terrible. Around the 12th century, the Ekur yielded its supremacy to Sagilla, from which I rendered many definitions. It was sacked and partially destroyed. glorified and destroyed, destroyed and glorified. It does seem similar to the Navajo, who used branches to sweep away their tracks. But the problem with the Assyrian temples is that the gods have been removed, leaving only Anzu and his alternative form, the bull Imdu-Good. They are one, unique, alone, but also Mashu. It must be cognate with twin, as they are twinned, mirrored, reflections of one another. The Ekur was sacked and partially destroyed, until it was later restored by the Assyrian monarchs, who carefully redecorated it and erected many new buildings in its area. But during the new Babylonian period, it was once more sacked by the order of the southern rulers, and by the end of the 7th century BC, its history comes to a close. Its site, however, did not lose sanctity. Similar to the hills and mounds, it was used as a cemetery, a pet cemetery, because the animal gods are contained within its foundation, similar to the church upon the mound, upon the kurgan, the underworld mound garden, of the weary strangers, the hostile enemies in the future. It did not lose sanctity, for it was used as a cemetery and partially inhabited till the 12th century AD, until the Crusade. It's almost as if these people moved north, then went back to reclaim their homeland, or to take the relics and sweep away the evidence. It is reminiscent of the United Nations, which is reminiscent of the Persian Empire. It is almost as if they created an enemy for themselves. What is an empire without an enemy? Lord Zu is the boundary stone, indicating the next location, to be glorified, then destroyed. Oh, that's right, I'm a fucking Pict. This was inevitable. I am inevitable. Because the Pict, the confident people, reincarnate. I'll be back. I will accomplish my task, or die trying.